Hey guys, it's Michael. Welcome back to Michael in the Morning. Today is Saturday, October 24th, 2020, and this is your second stimulus check and second stimulus package update. We have a lot of big news to cover, and in today's video, we're first going to go over how Nancy Pelosi said yesterday on Friday that we will be able to resolve some of the objections and pass a second stimulus package very soon. After that, we're going to go over how during the day on Friday, Steven Mnuchin said that if Nancy Pelosi wanted to compromise and wanted to pass a bill, they could get a deal done. And Pelosi said essentially the same thing about President Trump. They're both saying that if the other side wants to get a deal, well, then they'll be able to compromise and get something done. After that, we're going to go over how Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin delivered a more downbeat assessment on Friday about the chances for a second stimulus package before the election. He said that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi dug in and significant differences still remain on the second stimulus package, so he thinks that might hold up us getting a deal before the election. And finally, at the end of the video, we're going to go over important information from President Trump and what he said in an Oval Office meeting about the second stimulus package, Nancy Pelosi, and when he thinks we will get a deal done. So make sure to stick around to the end for that. But before we get started, it would really mean a lot if you could like the video down below and subscribe to my channel. It's completely free to do so, and it currently says about 50% of you watching are not subscribed. So if you'd like to stay up to date on the second stimulus check, second stimulus package, as well as other news updates, well, then please be sure to subscribe. Also, don't forget, you can get 2 free stocks valued up to $1,600 when you download the Webull investing app using the link down below, and get $20 when you download the M1 Finance app as well. So, Pelosi maintained that she was very hopeful about a second stimulus package, saying on MSNBC on Friday that we will be able to resolve some of the objections and pass a second stimulus package soon. She explained that I think it is in range for us to pass a bill before the election. While it may not be likely right now, it is still possible, she said. But Pelosi told reporters in the Capitol that it's ultimately not up to her whether or not the American people will see more stimulus before the election, but it's based on what the Senate does and what President Trump does. Pelosi goes on to say that we're writing the bill now and hopefully we'll be able to resolve some of the other differences before the election if the president wants to, but it's not up to her. So she was basically just blaming President, Senate Republicans, and other people for not getting a bill passed. On top of this, during the day on Friday, Steven Mnuchin said that if Pelosi wanted to compromise, they could get a deal done, and Pelosi said essentially the same thing about President Trump. Trump repeated his accusation that Pelosi just wanted to bail out poorly run blue states, even though governors of both parties have sought additional federal assistance. And Trump also accused Pelosi of trying to put off a deal until after the election in order to score some political points, which he predicted would backfire and ultimately hurt her more. So basically what is happening right now is both sides are blaming each other, saying that they each want a deal, but the other side doesn't. Moving on, Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin delivered a more downbeat assessment Friday about the chances for a second stimulus bill before the election, and he said that during negotiations between him and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, that the Speaker had dug in and significant differences still remain on a couple of important aspects of the bill. Mnuchin's comments came at the end of a week where Nancy Pelosi had established an informal deadline, actually twice, for getting an agreement on approximately $2 trillion second stimulus bill. Nancy Pelosi came out earlier in the week and said we had a 48-hour deadline in order to get a bill passed. Once we didn't reach that deadline and it expired, they then extended that another 48 hours. But while there was an agreement by her deadline, Pelosi insisted that she remained optimistic, and she said on MSNBC yesterday on Friday that you have to be optimistic in a negotiation. Otherwise, there's no point of negotiating. You can't go into it thinking nothing's going to work out, because that just sets you up for failure. In addition to Nancy Pelosi being optimistic, Nancy Pelosi's spokesperson Drew Hamil wrote on Twitter that the Democratic leader and the Treasury Secretary would speak again once additional progress is made, and he said that until then, staff level work would continue through the weekend, and they're going to continue working on it, getting the details figured out over this weekend so they could hopefully get a bill passed next week. So that is really good news. And finally, President Trump and Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin on Friday accused House Speaker Nancy Pelosi of hijacking stimulus relief by rejecting their offers of urgently needed stimulus. Speaking in the Oval Office yesterday on Friday, just 11 days from the presidential election, Steven Mnuchin, the administration's main negotiator between Democrats and the White House, said that the ball is in the California Democrats' Nancy Pelosi's court after months of discussions. He explained that we've offered compromises up until this point. They've come up to above $1.8 trillion from originally being at $1 trillion, but the speaker has decided to dig in on a number of issues and isn't willing to compromise. Mnuchin goes on to say that if she wants to compromise, there will be a deal and they could get something passed before the election. But he ultimately said right now she doesn't seem like she wants to compromise. He then goes on to say that we've made lots of progress this past week in a lot of areas, but there's still some significant differences that they have to work on. Trump on Friday said that the speaker was trying to secure funding for matters that are completely unrelated to the pandemic and claimed that she didn't want to reach an agreement before the election. He said that he actually thinks Nancy would rather wait until after the election, but Nancy Pelosi thinks it's a good point for her and it will be better for her to delay the second stimulus package until after the election, but ultimately he thinks it's going to backfire against her because the American people know that she is the reason that there is not a second stimulus package right now. He ultimately explained how he'd like to see people get the money now, and he thinks it's much better to get a bill passed before the election. So anyways, that's what's going on with the second stimulus check and second stimulus package as of Saturday, October 24th, 2020. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to get your 2 free stocks valued up to $1,600 when you download the Webull investing app using the link down below. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.